All right. Hello and welcome back to week 2 of the course. I hope everything's been going well. Hope practice has started off nicely for you. And if not, no worries. No time like the present to start, right? Week 2. So this week we explore the difference between attention and awareness. So it turns out that our brains have two different ways of processing the information in our environment. One is attention, which is a bit more narrow and focused and increases the precision of our ability to see things in a very sort of narrow way. And this is probably what you're more familiar with and what you might think of when you think meditation. It's like controlling attention and paying attention to the breath. But we also have this other way of processing information, which we can call awareness, which is this more open and inclusive and diffuse way of paying attention. And the reason that we have these two is because evolutionarily they both help for different things. You can think of attention as a way that we can sort of select food in the environment, like see a berry in a bush or see a banana in a tree or to see a predator. Whereas awareness is a good way to be monitoring in the background, making sure that we're aware of the sound of the twig behind us, of something sneaking up on us, or noticing, things in the environment in a more sort of global way. And so we have these two different ways, right, of processing information. And a big part of the benefits that we can experience from meditation is in training both of these and bringing these two into balance. Because although we might think that training attention is really important, being able to guide our attention, training our awareness is almost more important, as the part that actually makes attention really difficult to control. If we have low awareness, attentional control is really, really difficult. It gives this contextualizing awareness of a situation that allows us to know where to direct our attention to, right? Sometimes attention can be grabbed, and if you're too much in it, if you're too much in the attention, then you're not even aware of it. Whereas if you can rest back in a little bit more open, spacious awareness, then you can notice when your attention is being grabbed, and it helps the whole process. This is a really important thing to train. This is a really important thing to kind of understand and feel into the difference. And it might not sound obvious right now, but you'll get a sense for it over time. So of course we'll go into a lot more detail of this during the session, but in case you missed it, the practice that we're doing this week is called the 4-stage transition, which is just a fancy name, but it kind of tells you a little bit what we're doing. So the 4-stage transition is a meditation practice which helps us train both these things at the same time. So it's 4 stages. The first stage in the beginning is we're going to be paying attention to our external environment. So sound, smell, the air, everything that's outside of us. And this is training this awareness, right? This is more global, open awareness. And then once we've rested in that and the mind has settled down a little bit, then we're going to move into the sensations of the body, the entire body, feeling everything that we can, from the breath to the feeling of the seat beneath us, the clothes on our skin, our heartbeat, any sensations that are coming up, trying to keep an awareness of the entire body, but not losing contact with the outside world. So you're starting to do this juggling. And this is where, you can think of it as a cognitive training. We are training this ability to pay attention and maintain awareness in a way that's like flexible and strong and something that we can wield in the way that we want. After having paid attention to the body for a little while, we're going to focus the attention a little bit further down. So we're going to just pay attention to sensations of the breath in the entire body. So we'll be looking at the breathing in the belly, the rising and fall of the chest, maybe the feeling of the air coming in and out. And in this way, we're starting to narrow the attention down a little bit. But again, trying in the background to keep a general awareness of the environment and of the body. And remembering what we did in the week before, keeping the body relaxed in that, right? So this is really useful because sometimes if we forget to do this, as we start to pay attention to the breath, if a distraction comes up or we get, something that takes us away, one of the ways it manifests is in tension in the body. So if we can keep a background awareness of the body, it gives us a hint to when we get distracted. So keeping a background awareness, keeping it relaxed, focusing on the breath. And then the final step to the 4-stage transition is we're going to narrow it even further, and we're just going to pay attention to the sensations of the breath around the nostrils. So just the feeling of the air coming in and the feeling of the air coming out. So you might notice the air is slightly cooler as you breathe in and the air is slightly warmer as you breathe out, and just maintaining this attention in a very narrow space. But again, being aware of the body, the breath in the body, and the environment. You can kind of think about about 80% of your energy trying to be focused on the breath here, and the rest 20% being aware of the environment around. And so then once we've rested there for a little while and kept our attention there for as long as the practice lasts, then to start zooming out and then come back to the breath in the body, back to the body as a whole, and then to the wider environment and the sounds around us. And in that way, the four stage transition is a focusing in, going from awareness to attention, and then from attention out to awareness. And you can really think of this expansion and contraction as training of this muscle of attention and awareness over and over again. And in the process, becoming familiar with the difference between the two styles of processing and gaining this flexibility and control over the way that we process information, having this contextual, open clarity, feels smooth, feels at ease, feels clear, while also being able to be very precise and narrow and surgical with our attention as we go along. And these two things together just help in pretty much everything we do. There's no single task that we do that doesn't require both these faculties. Tangibly, for this practice, like when to do the four-stage transition, this is a really good one because you can do it pretty much in every practice. And in fact, I would recommend that this be the way that you start your meditation practice, is start with the four-stage transition. Even if you're working on something else entirely, some of the other practices that we're going to do over the next 3 months, start with the four-stage transition. Just settle the mind in, settle down, pay attention to the environment, and progressively work your way into the breath. And even if it's just for a couple of breaths or so, just settle the mind. And if at that point you want to work on something else, then switch over. And then that way you know that you're getting all the benefits from this practice. You're training these two aspects that are really important for anything that you do. And you'll notice that it's a really great way to settle in. It's a really nice way to transition from life just before, that's all kind of external, and slowly you sort of center in. And also a great way to come out of your practice. So say you've centered in, you've come in, you've stayed on the breath, you're working on concentration, you're staying there for a while. At the end of the practice, work your way back out again. And it creates this really natural exit from the sit into your everyday life as you progressively work out into the environment. And you start to notice that actually there's not so much a distinction between what you're trying to do on the cushion and what you're trying to do in life, right? You're just training attention, and paying attention to your life is beneficial no matter what, right? So try to move out of the sit in a sort of natural way that doesn't sort of jar and cut it off artificially, because really the whole point of these practices is to bring them into life. So just kind of planting that seed as a way to think about your practice, and the four-stage transition just does that really beautifully. So hopefully that was clear, and of course if it wasn't, or if you have any questions or anything is coming up in your practice, then please let us know, send us an email or write to us in the channel, and Mark and I will get back to you as soon as we can. And in the meantime, be well and see you again soon.